The Dangerous Secret. Dr. Amara Hassan's fingers flew across multiple keyboards as encrypted data streamed across her monitors in the underground laboratory. At 30, she was considered one of the world's foremost experts in cybersecurity and quantum computing. But tonight, she was committing the greatest betrayal of her career. The classified files she was copying contained research that could either save humanity or destroy it. The Prometheus project, hidden deep within Reeves Defense Industries, had been developing weapons based on recovered extraterrestrial technology. Amara had discovered the truth 3 months ago when she'd been brought in as a security consultant. What the military believed were defensive systems were actually planet-killing devices, and the alien species that had left the technology behind were still watching. Access complete, she whispered to herself, ejecting the quantum storage drive. The data contained everything: blueprints for alien weaponry, communication protocols with off-world species, and most damning of all, evidence that her former lover, Victor Reeves, knew exactly what he was building. Footsteps echoed in the corridor outside. Amara's heart hammered as she quickly shut down her systems and slipped the drive into a hidden pocket. She had minutes before the next security sweep. "Working late again, Doctor?" The voice belonged to the last person she wanted to see. Victor Reeves stood in the doorway, his imposing frame filling the entrance. At 35, he commanded one of the largest defense contracting companies in the world through a combination of brilliant innovation and ruthless determination. His dark hair was perfectly styled despite the late hour, and his steel-gray eyes missed nothing. "Just finishing the final security protocols," Amara replied, forcing steadiness into her voice. "The system should be impenetrable now." Victor stepped closer, his presence radiating the dangerous charisma that had once made her fall in love with him. They had been partners in every sense, professionally and personally, until she discovered what his company was really doing. "Impenetrable," he repeated, his gaze studying her face. "I certainly hope so. The data in this facility is worth more than most countries' GDP." Amara felt sweat beading on her forehead. Did he suspect? Their relationship had ended badly 6 months ago, when she'd refused to work exclusively for his company, citing ethical concerns. Victor hadn't taken rejection well. "The alien technology you've recovered, have you considered that it might not be meant for weapons development?" Something shifted in Victor's expression. "What makes you think we're developing weapons?" The question felt like a trap. Amara forced a casual shrug. "I've seen the energy output calculations. Whatever you're building requires enough power to level cities." Victor moved closer, close enough that she could smell his expensive cologne, close enough to remember stolen nights when they'd worked side by side and then made love until dawn. "Always the idealist," he murmured, his voice carrying a note of something that might have been regret. "What if I told you those weapons might be the only thing standing between Earth and annihilation?" Before Amara could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Red lights flashed as automated systems detected the data breach. Victor's expression transformed from intimate to lethal in seconds. "Lockdown protocols activated," an artificial voice announced. "All personnel remain in current positions." Victor's gray eyes locked onto Amara's, and she saw the exact moment he realized the truth. His face went cold with betrayal and rage. "You," he said quietly, his voice more dangerous than shouting, "you did this." Amara didn't deny it. There was no point now. "Victor, you don't understand what you're building, that technology. What I'm building is humanity's future, and you just stole it." Security guards poured into the room, weapons drawn. Victor held up a hand, stopping them, his gaze never leaving Amara's face. "Dr. Hassan will be leaving us tonight, permanently, and when I'm finished, she'll never work in this field again." As the guards moved to escort her away, Amara saw something she'd never seen in Victor's eyes before. Not just anger, but genuine hurt. She had shattered more than his security protocols. She had destroyed his trust, wounded his pride, and turned their love into a declaration of war. What Victor didn't know was that the war had only just begun, and the stakes were higher than either of them could imagine. Pride and punishment. Victor's revenge was swift and merciless. Within weeks, Amara found herself blacklisted from every major tech company, her security clearances revoked, her reputation systematically destroyed through carefully planted rumors about corporate espionage. Former colleagues refused to take her calls, job applications were rejected before interviews. The man she had once loved was using every connection, every favor owed to erase her from the industry. "The prodigal daughter returns," Victor said when Amara appeared in his office 2 months later, desperation finally driving her to face him directly. "Though I hear you're not quite as prodigal anymore. How's the job search going?" Amara stood before his massive desk, trying to maintain dignity while her world crumbled around her. "You're destroying innocent people too, my research assistants, my graduate students. They've done nothing wrong." "Collateral damage," Victor replied coldly. "You should have considered that before you betrayed me." Behind him, a woman emerged from the shadows of his office. Amara's breath caught. The figure was humanoid, but clearly not entirely human, tall and graceful, with luminous purple skin that seemed to shimmer with inner light. Her features were beautiful but alien, with large dark eyes that held ancient wisdom. "This is Zara," Victor said without taking his eyes off Amara, "my new technology advisor. She's helping us understand the full potential of our acquisitions." Zara studied Amara with unsettling intensity. "She is the one who stole the data. Her motivations are more complex than you believe, Victor Reeves." "Her motivations were greed and betrayal," Victor snapped. Amara met Zara's alien gaze. "What is he really building? You know, don't you? You know what that technology is actually for." Zara's expression flickered, but she remained silent. Victor stood, his anger radiating like heat. "Get out, Amara, before I have security remove you." "Victor, I'm pregnant," Amara said quietly. The words hit him like a physical blow. His face went white, then red with rage. "Convenient timing. Another manipulation?" Tears burned Amara's eyes. "It's yours, 3 months along." Victor laughed bitterly and hollow. "Even now you're lying, using pregnancy as leverage. You really think I'm that naive?" "DNA test," Amara said desperately. "We can do a DNA test." "We can do nothing," Victor replied with icy finality. "You made your choice when you stole from me. Now live with the consequences." As security escorted Amara away, she caught Zara watching her with something that looked like pity. The alien woman understood something Victor's wounded pride wouldn't let him see. That night, Amara packed her few remaining possessions and disappeared into the vast anonymity of the city, carrying Victor's child and the stolen data that might save humanity from a war it didn't even know was coming. The Hidden War. 2 years later, Victor found Amara living under an assumed name in a rundown apartment across the country. His private investigators had finally tracked her down, but nothing had prepared him for what he discovered. Through the window of a small cafe, he watched a beautiful little girl with his dark hair and Amara's warm brown eyes playing with toy blocks while her mother worked on a laptop nearby. His daughter. Despite his fury and pride, the child was unmistakably his. Victor entered the cafe, his presence immediately commanding attention. Amara looked up from her computer and her face went pale with shock and fear. "Hello, Amara," he said quietly, taking the seat across from her. "We need to talk." The little girl, Elena, he'd learned from his investigators, looked up at him with curious eyes. "Mama, who's this?" Amara pulled Elena closer protectively. "What do you want, Victor?" Answers, he replied, his gaze fixed on his daughter's face. Starting with why you're using the stolen data to contact extraterrestrial species. Amara's blood ran cold. He'd been monitoring her activities, tracking her attempts to use the alien communication protocols. Because someone needs to warn them that Earth is building weapons from their technology. Warn them, Victor's voice rose. They're the enemy, Amara. That technology was left here as a test. If we can't defend ourselves, they'll consider us weak. That's not true, Amara said desperately. I've been in communication with their advanced scouts. They're not invaders, they're protectors. That technology wasn't abandoned, Victor. It was gifted, meant to help us evolve, not destroy. Zara appeared beside their table, her purple skin shimmering in the afternoon light. Other patrons stared, but she ignored them. She speaks truth, Victor Reeves. Your species misunderstands our intentions. Our intentions, Victor stared at his alien advisor. I am not merely an advisor, Zara said softly. I am an emissary, sent to guide humanity toward peaceful integration. But your weapons development threatens everything we have worked to achieve. Elena giggled and reached toward Zara's glowing skin with innocent fascination. Pretty lady! As Victor watched his daughter interact fearlessly with an alien being, something shifted inside him. For 2 years, his pride had blinded him to the truth. Amara hadn't betrayed him. She'd been trying to save them all. The communication protocols you stole, you've been negotiating. Amara nodded, trying to, but there are factions on their side too. Some who believe humans are too violent for peaceful contact. Your weapons program is proving them right. Weapons of the heart. That evening, in the small apartment Amara called home, Victor held his daughter for the first time. Elena had fallen asleep in his arms, while Zara explained the truth about the extraterrestrial presence on Earth. My people have been observing humanity for centuries. Some believe you are ready for integration into the galactic community. Others see only violence and fear. The technology we left was meant to be a bridge, not a weapon. Victor stroked Elena's dark hair, his heart aching with 2 years of missed moments. And I've been building the very weapons that could doom us. Not doom, Amara said quietly, from where she sat curled on the worn sofa, but delay, maybe for centuries. If Earth proves hostile, the Galactic Council will quarantine our solar system. Humanity will never know what's out there. Victor looked at her, really looked at her for the first time in years. She was thinner, worn down by struggle and single motherhood, but her eyes still held the passionate intelligence that had first captivated him. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you trust me with the truth? Because your pride was more important than my warnings, Amara said, pain evident in her voice. I tried to explain, but you only heard betrayal. Victor carefully placed Elena in her small bed, then turned back to face the 2 women who had changed his world. I heard betrayal because I was betrayed, not by theft or espionage, but by the woman I loved choosing to handle the fate of humanity alone instead of trusting me. The words hung heavy between them. Zara watched the exchange with alien curiosity, studying the complex emotions that drove human behavior. I was protecting you, Amara whispered. I didn't want protection, Victor replied, moving closer. I wanted partnership. I wanted the woman who could solve impossible problems to believe I could be part of the solution instead of just part of the problem. When he kissed her, it was with 2 years of suppressed longing, regret, and desperate need. Amara melted into him, her resistance crumbling as his hands tangled in her hair. They made love that night with desperate intensity, rediscovering each other while their daughters slept peacefully nearby, and Zara kept watch for the enemies that were coming for them all. We can't go back, Amara murmured against Victor's chest. Then we go forward, he replied, arms tightening around her. Together this time. Outside, unknown to them, surveillance teams were moving into position. Victor's former business partners had discovered his location, and they had no intention of letting alien technology slip away from human military control. Love's victory. The attack came at dawn. Military contractors surrounded the apartment building while Elena slept between her parents. Victor's former business partners, led by General Morrison, had decided that alien integration was too dangerous to allow. They want the technology and Zara, Victor realized as armed figures moved through the hallways. They're willing to kill us all to get them. Amara was already at her laptop, fingers flying as she activated protocols she'd spent months preparing. I'm sending everything to the Galactic Council. All the research, all the evidence of human aggression, everything. That will end any chance of integration, Victor said. Unless we give them a reason to hope, Zara added softly. She was glowing brighter now, her alien physiology responding to stress. Unless we show them that some humans are worth saving. Victor made a choice that surprised them all. Instead of fighting, he picked up Elena and walked out the front door with his hands raised. Amara and Zara followed, trusting him completely for the first time. General Morrison, Victor called to the man leading the assault team. You want the alien technology? Here's your chance to take it directly from the source. Morrison stepped forward, weapons trained on them. Victor, don't be a fool. That creature is humanity's enemy. That creature, Victor replied calmly, is the mother of the child my daughter is going to grow up with. We're not just protecting technology anymore. We're protecting family. Elena reached out toward Zara with innocent trust, and the alien woman took the child's small hand in her luminous one. The simple gesture of cross-species affection was broadcast live as news crews arrived, showing the world that peaceful contact was possible. Stand down, General, came a new voice. The President's National Security Advisor emerged from an unmarked vehicle. We've been in communication with the Galactic Council. They're offering Earth provisional membership based on the successful integration protocols developed by Dr. Hassan and Mr. Reeves. Morrison's forces reluctantly lowered their weapons as Victor pulled Amara close. Above them, ships that defied human understanding of physics appeared in the dawn sky, not as invaders, but as welcome committee. The war you thought you were fighting, Victor said to Morrison, was against our own fear. And months later, Victor and Amara stood in the first human-alien integration center, watching Elena play with children from 3 different worlds, while Zara taught human scientists about bioluminescent technology. Their love had survived betrayal, pride, and the revelation that humanity wasn't alone in the universe. Was it worth it? Victor asked, pulling Amara into his arms as their daughter's laughter echoed through the impossible architecture around them. Every moment of pain, every sleepless night, every fight we had, it brought us here, Amara replied, standing on her toes to kiss him. It brought us home. In the end, the greatest weapon against fear and pride had been love. Love strong enough to choose trust over control, hope over vengeance, and unity over isolation. The war Victor had started with his wounded heart had become the foundation for peace between worlds. The end.